Charlotte here, and we're at Compulsion, and I'm here with David of the Duellists.
Yep.
So, hi David, so why don't you tell me a wee bit about what the Duellists are?
Duellists are a HEMA club. It's historical European martial arts. Okay. We're actually one of the older ones, being founded somewhere in the mid-90s by a number of people, including Paul McDonald, Bob Brooks who's now in Hotspur, and Guy Windsor, who's well known as well. So it's a venerable society.
So what do you do?
We do fencing using historical systems. For example, my primary weapon is the longsword, using both the German and Italian systems from the roughly the 15th century. Though both traditions are on either side as well. And we look at these manuscripts, and we will, having looked at them, try and make them work. Yeah. Which is easier said than done for a lot of these earlier ones, where you have medieval people thinking in medieval ways. Yeah. It's interesting stuff. Yeah, so I've
came up today and had a wee look around the room, and I was not expecting to see so many swords. So I have to say, that really piqued my interest. And also, you can't see David just now, but David is wearing something that's a cross between a fire suit and a hockey kit.
I've heard these things described as a duvet you can wear.
Yeah, exactly.
And is that warm? We use a lot of protective equipment.
Because you wear actually.
Yes, these are fencing with steel swords. They're coming at you at reasonably high speed. Yeah. And yes, I mean, around the club night we can have more swords than that as well. Yeah. To run you through, I'm wearing I use quite a minimal amount.
Okay. It still looks pretty. Pretty
intensive. So what I've got is my main one is the Spez fencing jacket. This is heavy, several layers of cloth and leather on it, as well as these large bits of plastic, which will help when I get hit around the arms and make me look more like a Sith Lord than ever. Yes, under this I have some old football shin guards, just to cover a part of the arm that doesn't get protected by the plastic as much, and a chest protector, which is again plastic, just to make sure I never actually get stabbed there. And I'll get stabbed under it if I do, but not on it. These days it's magic.
So it is a hazard of it. So it's more the fact you are going to get stabbed, but it's not going to kill you. That's essential. It's not
going to kill you. You'll notice if you look at the swords, we either use a rebated tip where the sword's
folded back,
or mine is a spatulated one where it's expanded. So as to not go through anybody. Historically, of course, these things would be sharp and would go through you quite readily.
And also, I suppose that, because I obviously got to handle the swords, which was very exciting, but I realised that I am exactly the same height as the greatsword. So I'm now going to use that as my course of measurement from now on. Charlotte is exactly one greatsword tall.
Yes, that's a greatsword. I think it's a 52-inch blade plus a bunch in the handle. That's probably the only actually military weapon we have. The rest of it is all civilian. So, and quite a lot of our art is for a civilian sphere. When you're having an ostensibly friendly duel or a judicial challenge, and you can see it in a lot of the arts they use. A lot of the longsword art is judicial, or the early stuff is very much judicial. So you see the points coming in quite a lot. Later on that fades, and as it becomes a sort of dueling culture, and a very macho one. I would actually say that late 15th, early 16th century Germany is what the NRA wants America to be like, except with swords rather than guns.
Everyone's armed and everyone's...
Yes, everyone's armed, and you will have friendly duels, so a lot of the arts becomes a lot more about cutting and managing your opponent safely. Because you don't want to kill your opponents, obviously. And if you should accidentally do so, you really want to be killing with the blade rather than this point. The distinction here is that
don't try this at home, kids. Just maybe should.
Don't try killing people with sharp swords at home. We shouldn't need to say that.
Do it in a safe environment.
It's Duellists, for example. But the important distinction is between, and it's a good one for fantasy role players to remember, distinction is that a cut with a slice, that can happen accidentally. So courts will tend to rule that as manslaughter, whereas the point you're demonstrating, that needs some purpose to it, so that will be murder, and you'll probably get hanged for that. So I think many role-playing parties should just be hanged after a month of any particularly.
A delve in a dungeon. That's it.
Yes, delve in a dungeon. I argue there's no orcs down there. It's just it's just where they hang out till heat's off. There's quite a big social context to it as well.
And the historical context, obviously, too. But David, thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to going in and watching some more fencing. That should be great. Thanks.
Yep.
Hi everyone. So I'm here with Calum, and Calum is one of the organisers of Conpulsion. So tell us a wee bit about what's involved in that.
Sure. So Conpulsion is Edinburgh's friendly local RPG role-playing game convention. We're backed and run by a committee from USA, which is the University Role-Playing Game Society. So we put together, we take over the student union here in Edinburgh, and we put together a number of nerdy hobbies. We've got role-playing games, we've got board games, we bring in some kind of ephemera stuff too. I think you've already spoken to the Duellists, who are our sword-wielding buddies. We're a student-led con. We have been since the very, very beginning. Compulsion's been running for a heck of a long time. So that's it. We're kind of a student-led, student-forward, happy local role-playing convention.
Tell us a bit more then about your experience, your history of Compulsion.
Sure. So I often joke that I'm like the Compulsion DLC character, in that I don't manage during term time to get to many of the GIAS events, but I get downloaded for the convention and then deleted again. So I ran the convention last year, which was a brilliant experience. Compulsion is, I use that phrase, friendly local gaming convention, in the best possible way. There's always smiles. It's all about just creating a nice, friendly community around the convention. But my experience has been nothing but positive with Compulsion. I ran it last year. It's a hard job. It's a hard job being top of the food chain. I suppose it is with organising anything. But we couldn't do it without the community of people we've got around us. And then this year, I've taken a little bit of a step back, and I'm just doing logistics. So I'm moving tables and unlocking doors, which is a lot more relaxing. I'm actually going to be able to game this year.
So you couldn't stay away?
Nice. No, I couldn't stay away. No, they dragged me back in. It's a bit like the Mafia in that aspect. You think you're out and they drag you back in. No, it's the best Mafia in the world. I love them to bits.
So what are your highlights of Compulsion then?
My highlights of Compulsion. I love the pub quiz. The pub quiz is kind of our round-off event. That's an organiser speaking, because it's the last moment he has to be in charge. But I like the pub quiz because I think it emphasises everything that Compulsion is about. It's everyone, regardless of what their personal interest is, whether it's role-playing games, board games, whether they're here for the Duellists, get together, having a bit of fun in the room, answering some nerdy questions and enjoying each other's company. And I think if there was one theme that runs across what Compulsion is, it's just a weekend of having a bash with your mates, doing the nerdy stuff you love. So, yeah.
And you've already said that it is a local thing, but it's quite a relaxed atmosphere about the place. It's quite laid back.
I think that's engineered. I think that's what we're going for. We want people to be able to wander around. We want people to be able to. We want to be an inclusive space as well. And I think a lot of the bigger cons, if it's a lot more regimented, and you've got your time scales to meet, then that can reduce the level of kind of inclusiveness. So we try and make it as hippy dippy and wishy washy as possible. We just let people wander around and have a bit of fun. As I say, we're pitching at that level of we want everyone to feel nice and comfortable, and part of that is the relaxed atmosphere. Our staff are wandering around, talking to people. It's always been that way.
So will we see you again for Compulsion 2019?
Hopefully, very, very hopefully. I might be moving to a different part of the country, but even if I can't be here to organise, I'll run back to attend. So I'm sure you'll see me, whether or not it's in a staff T-shirt. I'll definitely be back.
Callum, thank you so much for speaking with us.
Absolute pleasure.
Perfect. So I'm now here with Keith McLeman, and you may have heard of Keith McLeman as Cardboard and Coffee, or Nuts and Bots, which we played at Aircon. So hi Keith.
Hi.
Thanks for having us. So we've just played a quick game of Nuts and Bots.
Yeah.
You won. I'm not going to say if I think there's been a fix or anything like that. Flip your flute. But why don't you tell us about your game then? Tell us what you've been, because you have made some changes to it since the last played at your con.
It's a tile manipulation game where you have to complete contracts in order to build robots. Some of the main aim of the game is to build a megabot, which is an 8-length contract. Which means you've got to put 8 tiles in order and have a worker on each tile in order to complete it. But you have to build up to that. So at the start, you only have 6 workbots. So you need to build extra contracts, build up your workforce. You can build spare parts as well. The spare parts allow you to replace, instead of having to put tiles on the board or workstations on the board, you can use the spare parts instead, and it means it makes the contracts, the longer contracts, slightly simpler and easier as well.
Good. So some of the changes you made this time around, I just love the idea of the megabot. I envision, like some sort of, the Power Rangers when they'd all come together. That's what I imagine, all these worker bots just coming together. But you've actually implemented some of the changes that maybe I'm being a bit big-headed here that I'd suggested at Aircon, which was to allow the player to see it up front. Now, having said that, I never made use of that because having seen it, I would have known what I should be trying to get. I should have seen what I was trying to get. I didn't do that. That's my own fault. But you'd said actually you found that you were doing that. You were able to sort of think ahead.
I'd only introduced that this week. I've been playing around with it at home just to try and find, because it's still in the tweaking stages. There's still a few bits and pieces that I need to sort out. Although I'm hoping that this is it actually. And one of the things was I tried everybody having a megabot up front, so that there's something to aim for specifically. And I did find that when I was trying to complete the other contracts, I had the megabot in mind, and I was looking to see what the megabot needed, and I was building towards that. So I think that's a really good addition to the game. I think it makes a big difference. Because although the megabots were visible before, you only chose one once you completed the rest of the requirements in order to get it. This time, you've got your own one, so you can work towards it.
So what's next for Nuts and Bots then?
I need to get artwork.
Okay.
I'm planning to take it to Kickstarter.
Right,
When I'm at UKGE, I might do a little bit of pitching to publishers, but the fact is I'll probably end up taking it to Kickstarter. So I need to get the artwork sorted out. The rules I feel are pretty much complete. I feel that probably still some tweaks here and there, but I'm happy with it. It's been stable for quite a long time. The main game's been stable. So get the art. Start working towards getting it out there.
You're going to be at UK Games Expo?
I will, but I won't have a stall there.
Have a stall.
I'll be at the playtest area probably, and I'll be in the open gaming area just in case anybody wants to play it. But I'll be part-time at One Free Elephant, who did Carcosa and Orphan. So I'll be part-time on their stall. I'll be working there about half the time, and then I'll be wandering around there.
But you'll be about, so if anybody is curious and wants to catch up with you, just grab you.
They can come to the One Free Elephant stall. And we can arrange to meet up at some point and have a game.
Keith, thank you very much.
Right, thanks.
Perfect. Hi, I'm here with Matt Coward, who is a games researcher. So why don't you tell us a wee bit about what you're doing?
Yeah, so sure. I'm a sociologist from the University of York, and I'm studying the way in which tabletop games in all their myriad of forms create community, and why that's a good thing.
Good. So why are you at Conpulsion? What has brought you to Conpulsion specifically?
Oh, well, it's amazing. I've been attending as part of my research a number of conventions across the UK, and
that's not bad.
It's pretty good. It's pretty good. And Conpulsion is just one of those that really stood out for me. Actually, it's student-led, voluntary-led. It just seemed to have a really nice ethos about it, and Edinburgh's a lovely city as well.
So, what are your plans for the research, or what are you hoping to even bring from it? What is the point of it, really, for want of a better words?
Yeah, so in sociology what we do is we try and speak back to wider society. So what I'm trying to do is I'm doing fieldwork for a year, and then I'm taking all this fieldwork to then produce information. I'm hoping next year to kind of come back to these kind of events and talk at them and actually speak back about what I found out. You know, it's not about creating a checklist of do's or don'ts in any way, but it's saying about how tabletop gaming and tabletop gamers and the way we interact and the way in which we create groups of people can speak back to wider society and why that's a positive thing. So for me, it's about speaking back to the general public, but also I want this information to feed back into groups of gamers themselves. You know, that's.
So how are you gathering your data?
Yeah, so I'm conducting interviews, mainly lots of interviews, coupled with fieldwork. So here, attending conventions, observations, focus groups, and actually playing games with people. Because what better way to conduct research than to play a game at the same time? And I take what's called kind of an interpretivist approach, so I don't have any hypotheses here. I'm not coming in and saying I want to find out why this X equals Y. I'm taking what the people who are speaking to me are saying and using that as a basis for my study. I want it to be truly reflective of the industry in the UK.
That's great. So you've said you're obviously going to be doing a tour of conventions. So what's your next one? What have you got lined up?
Oh, next one. May's a busy month. The next one's probably going to be UKGE.
Oh yeah.
Which will be great. I'm really excited for Tabletop Scotland in September. I'm also looking at kind of Chilcon in Derby, Bastion, and a few more. I'm still. It's kind of connecting the dots a little bit and travelling around, but. I'm hoping to attend as many as possible, and I'm particularly interested in these more kind of volunteer-led ones. You know, it's there's something really wholesome and communicative about them.
There's definitely is. I mean, I've always said that. I suppose I'm a sociologist as well, and that I work in community mental health, and so I always see the benefits within groups being able to bond over something. And everybody's like, board games, what's it? You know, but it's like, actually no, it's so developmental in what it does, that I can totally see the benefit of having this. And also, like we're saying, I think you'd said earlier that actually most of the data we have at the moment is not up to date.
So there is stuff coming out from in the past 10 years, but a lot of the research it comes out of the United States, comes out of Australia mainly, and it's just a very different environment. So if we can create something as a collective of tabletop gamers that I happen to write down, and that becomes a real honest representation of tabletop gaming in the UK, I think great. What more could we want, really?
Brilliant. Well, thank you for chatting with us. So we'll see you again at UK Games Expo.
Fantastic. I'll see you there.
And if you see Matt there, be sure to say hi. Fantastic. Thanks.
We are Unlucky Frog Gaming, and I am Ben. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search for Unlucky Frog Gaming. You can also show your support by giving us money through the Unlucky Frog Patreon. And be sure to check out our website, unluckyfrog.com, to find out more.